Hello, everyone. My name is Vernon Lee. I'm one of the co-founders of the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation. We're really excited to have a very special guest on today's 757 Roundtable Talk. I'm going to throw it over to my co-founder, Carl Francis, to make this introduction.
Well, first of all, as Vernon said, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is a very important conversation because, as you know, our country is going through a lot and it's having a major impact on sports. And with Vernon and myself being co-founders of the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation, many of you high school athletes have over the years. We were thinking about you and just wanted to share some light on a lot of you, because I know you're disappointed in how your season's been canceled or postponed, and it's been a little drag for you not knowing when to work out, when not to work out. But we thought it was important to keep your spirits up, and there's no better person than we could have invited than the greatest ever to come out of our area. Our main guy that has done so much for our community, has represented so well, and that's Michael Vick, who's on right now. So first, thank Michael. Michael's very busy doing a lot of great things off the field in his retirement career. But I just want you guys to know that when I call to be a part of this, it was a question. So I just want to thank him for spending this time to share with us. But before we get started, I definitely want to give his name just due. So we're going to hold off for a second. I want to read off some of the things that he has accomplished so you guys can read. For the Atlanta Falcons from 2001 to 2008, the Philadelphia Eagles from 2009 to 2013, the New York Jets in 2014, and the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2015. He was a four-time Pro Bowler in 2002, 2004, 2005, 2010. He was the NFL Comeback Player of the Year 2010. He was a Burt Bell Award winner in 2010. And in college, he was a Heisman Trophy finalist in 1999. In 1999, he was also Big East Player of the Year. And in 1999, he broke several records in 1999. And his most career rushing yards by a quarterback is 6,109 yards. And so I wanted to just let you know that this is an incredible person, not just on the field, but also off the field. And I want to also just introduce him. And he's going to share a few words with you of encouragement. And then we're going to take some time to take on a few questions that you may have for Michael Vick while he's here. So at this moment, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Michael so he can, share a few words and give you some things to encourage you through this adversity that you're going through. Michael.
Thanks, Carl. I appreciate it, man. And hopefully everybody can hear me. You was going in and out, and I just got into my place in Florida. So working on getting the reception and everything, with the Comcast and all the internet stuff. That's not my thing. My kids do all that. So hopefully everybody can hear me. But
yeah, we can hear you.
Cal, Carl, a couple things that you said, man. I was just like, you said, you was mentioning the Pro Bowls, and it was one year, 2005, man, where I should have made the Pro Bowl, but I made a bad decision. I made a bad gesture to the crowd, and that cost me that season. Even though I played pretty good, should have made the Pro Bowl. I didn't make it because I made a bad decision. So, but look, man, thanks for having me, bro. Y'all like family to me. You and Vernon. There's nothing that I won't do for, the youth in our community, the youth around the world. The 757, that community, that means a lot to me. Growing up in Newport News and playing high school football was everything to me. And I couldn't imagine not having a season right now, my senior year. But I think what's important is that we understand that, life throws us curveballs and anything can happen. Anything can happen, you got to be prepared for it. So, to those seniors out there, find that positive. Find something that you can take away from this moment and, find, whatever it takes to Continue to be ambitious, continue to dream your dream. Don't let this affect that, because everybody in the world is going through it. It's not just you. You're not the only high school player in the world. It's 1,000 other high school seniors around the country who won't get the opportunity. But just know that better days are ahead. It always gets greater later. You just got to believe in your plan. You got to believe in yourself, and don't let this stop you. If anything, you can look at this as a year to just to rest your body. As you grow older, you continue to play sports. Your body is going to take a toll, and when you're young, you can get through certain things, and the requirements are different, but your body can handle it. And as you get older, for those of you who are fortunate and can play on the professional level or even the college level, as you go further into your career, taking care of your body is going to be important. So you can look at this as a year to just kind of exhale a little bit, give your body some rest, still train, still work out, still mentally equip yourself, in the classroom, because, I ain't got to say it, but knowledge is power, in all phases of life. And, the game is going to continue to go on. You're not going to miss a beat in football just because you're not tackling guys in 2020, or you're not catching interceptions or throwing touchdown passes right now. Don't mean it's not going to happen in the future. So feel good about where you're at. If it's, things that you got to get better at, if it's things that you need to, fine tune as an individual. It could be something with your character, or it could be something with a relationship or friendship or in the classroom. Focus on that. There's plenty of things to focus on right now. We got enough time. Everybody got enough time. So I know myself, being a Fox Sports analyst, just working on my craft to become the best analyst that I can be. So you always can get better in areas in your life, and don't ever forget that. And like I said, I'm glad to be on this call, and would love to answer questions from anyone who is on this Zoom call, because that's the purpose of this call. I'm here. Use me while you got me. But like I say, it gets greater later, and always remember that.
Before we get to the questions, which I think are important, Mike, I want to ask you, just, we've all played high school sports, and we all played, college sports, but the adversity that the kids are going through right now, whether you're in the 12th grade, whether you're in the 9th, 10th, or 11th, what type of advice can you share with the young man as he's trying to figure out, should I work out? Shouldn't I work out? How should I approach school? Like, thinking back to your time at Warwick High School, what would you tell your younger self to do if you were faced with the same situation?
So if this was 1995, 96, 97, my sophomore year, junior year in high school, and something like this occurred, me personally, I know myself, so I would probably be thankful that I don't have to get up early and go to school, walk to the school bus, jump on the bus, 30-minute ride. And then got to spend all day, paying attention, because that's what school requires if you want to learn. I would have kind of fell into like a lazy state, don't, when I think about it, it's like, I can't even imagine going through what they're going through right now, because the great part about today's time is that, you can go to class online. You can go to class via Zoom, or I watch my kids do it, the past, 4 or 5 months that we've been going through this. So we didn't have laptop computers. We didn't have, iPhones and ways to connect to the world or connect to a classroom. So it would have been, it would have definitely been different. But, I would have tried to focus on something that could help me obtain that level of success that I want to obtain in my life. And, I always knew I wanted to play professional football. I always knew I had to go through the college ranks to play in the National Football League. So my senior year, my grades dropped tremendously. And, it was due to a lot of different things. Well, I take that back. My junior year, and my high school coach, Tommy Raymond, didn't talk to me for a semester. He told me he wouldn't talk to me until, I figured out what was more important than football, and that was school. And, I say all that to say this, I turned the corner and I got my grades and everything back on track. But I couldn't imagine that happening at a time like this. So, what I say is just stay enthused, just know that better days are ahead. Like it's hard to get up sometimes and go work out when there's no purpose. But you know what? I work out every day with my wife because I want to stay toned. She trying to lose weight, and it's a cool thing to do. So it's motivation, and it got to come from somewhere. So that's my motivation. Your motivation is that you're still an athlete, you're still a student athlete, and don't forget that. So conduct yourself like that. Times have changed where you got to grow up fast these days, and when you go to college and your coach take a look at you and he talking to you and he observing you, you're gonna see what type of young man he's dealing with. So don't ever lose sight, of the man that you're trying to become, man or woman, a young man or woman that you're trying to become. Always keep that in the forefront of your mind. And more so than anything, aside from sports, being able to maintain knowledge itself is very important. So stay in tune in your books. There's no excuse to fail a grade. There's no excuse to get bad grades. You got all the time to study. You're gonna be at home. So outside of sports, focus on academics.
There you go. Bernie, you wanna go to the Q&A section and see if anyone has questions? You on mute. Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, just raise your hand and then we'll let you get your questions in. Okay, Jacob, hold on one moment. We got a few of them coming in right now.
I have his question.
All right, not sure what happened to Jacob. Hold on, let's get on Aaron.
I got a question.
Is that Aaron?
Yeah, this is Aaron.
All right, Aaron, you're on.
It's Aaron, state what school you're from, what area you're from, so we can get to know you, Aaron.
All right. I'm from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Egg Harbor Township High School.
Okay.
And yeah, I play football, basketball, track, and stuff. And yeah, I'm a lefty and everything. I'm left-handed quarterback. So like, Michael Vick and everything. I want to join this meeting because like I'm a big fan. Like that's literally my favorite quarterback. And I was wondering, like, did you start like all 4 of your years of high school?
That's a good question. So it's a funny story, and I don't mind sharing it with you guys because I think it's a very cool story. So when I first got to high school, my older cousin Aaron Brooks, who played with the New Orleans Saints and played with the Oakland Raiders, he had a great career in the NFL. So he played at the University of Virginia, and he was leaving the high school that I was attending. So he was a senior going off to college, and I was a freshman. And I wanted to play varsity, but I wasn't ready. So as a freshman, my body wasn't probably as mature as it was, in my sophomore year. So my coach decided to play me on junior varsity. And being on junior varsity was the best thing for me because I was able to work at my craft every day, work at getting better as a quarterback. And then 7 games in, I had 27 touchdown passes in 7 games. So if you do the math, it's like 4 touchdown passes a game. And then my coach pulled me from junior varsity to varsity the last 3 games of the season. And in high school, you only play 10 games max. So my last 3 games of my freshman year, I played with the varsity, and it didn't go good. I did break a Virginia passing record for 433 yards in my second game, but that was against a school that wasn't as talented as everybody else. So I played against a school called Kickerton and Phoebus. Phoebus in my first start, Kickerton in my last start, and I got abused. I got beat up. They was the best teams in district, probably ranked in the country. And, it just didn't go well. But I learned from those experiences. I didn't start all 4 years in college. So I will say 3 years and 3 games. But those 3 games at the end of my freshman year got me ready for my sophomore, junior, and senior season.
Thanks, Mike. All right, we're going to go to James.
Yep.
Yep, James, what's your question?
I just wanted to know, who's the best player you've ever played with?
With? Well, listen. Let me say this. I love all my teammates that I ever played with, and I give them the utmost respect and credit every chance I get, because we all was there for each other. We all went through practice together. We went through training camps. We went through organized team practices, and all the hardships that you go through as a player to make you the player that you're going to be on, whether it's Friday night or Saturday night or Sundays or Mondays or Thursdays. Football is played on a numerous amount of days, and depending on the level, you know what I'm talking about. So it's so hard to say, man, because I had so many good football players around me, from Shady McCoy to Antonio Brown when I was with the Steelers, and Le'Veon Bell, and I played with Ben Roethlisberger, and just guys who were just Pro Bowl players, and had a chance to watch them work. So I can't say an individual player that I was around, because I was always around greatness. I was always around guys who wanted to be the best at their position, and a lot of respect came from me to them. So I'm sorry I don't have one specific player, but a majority of those guys: Roddy White, Algie Crumpler, Jason Peters, Jason Kelsey, it's just guys that was just always there for me. Every offensive lineman that I ever played with, Todd McClure, Todd Weiner, anybody who ever lined up in front of me to block for me and to protect me from what was coming, I got a lot of respect for. So they were all my favorite teammates, and let this be a lesson to you. Don't ever have a favorite. You can have friends. Don't ever have a favorite teammate. Make them all your favorites.
Thanks, Mike. All right, we're going to go to, let's see here, EJ. EJ, are you there? EJ, you have a question? All right, we'll go to Curtis. Cortez, and what grade are you in, and where are you from? What school?
I'm in 10th grade, and I go to Snow Hill High, and in Maryland.
All right. What's your question for Mike?
Have you ever felt like you have always been limited to your abilities, what you can do for football, and if so, have you ever felt like you can overcome it?
Yeah, man. I think that's a great question. That question that come in different forms. It come in different ways to me. But to answer your question, when I was that freshman quarterback that I just told you about, it was another freshman in our same district who was so talented, probably the best high school player that I ever seen. And this guy did things that from afar I looked at and really not was envious of or jealous of what he did. I wish I could do it. I wanted to be like him in a sense, but we both were freshmen. He was just very mature beyond his years, and he had something that I wanted from a talent perspective. And then I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, well, I'm like 3 inches shorter. I'm like, 15 pounds lighter. I'm not as fast. I can run the football. I can cut. I can throw it. But I'm just not as talented as him. And it really hurt me because I'm like, man, I spent a lot of time in the backyard playing with my friends and trying to get better playing against them. And the more that you play ball and the more reps that you get, I don't care if it's in the backyard or if it's an organized football, the better you're going to become. And I felt like I've become a great player. But when I watched this guy, he was just so much better than everybody else, and he dominated. He was the best high school quarterback I ever seen. His name was Ronald Curry. And I had a lot of respect for Ronald. Still have a lot of respect for him to this day because he not only was he a great player, he's an even better man. So, I beat myself up a lot because I'm like, man, why am I not 2 inches taller? Why am I not 15 pounds heavier? Why can't I cut and change direction the way he do? And I felt like, I didn't get all the recognition. I didn't get all the accolades. I didn't get the praise. I didn't get write-ups and clips in the newspaper. But what I did, I told myself, okay, my team is not as good as other teams that I'm playing against. When I get to college, I can become a better player because I have a better support cast. I have better players around me to help me play better. And so this is what I realized. It wasn't about me. It was about the players that I played with. It was about the players that I played around. If everybody do their job, then everybody could be great. The only way I could be great was because other people was being great. So it's not you. It's not you. You can, yes, work on your game and know that, you can always get better. But always encourage the people around you, the players that you play with, to get better as well. That way, your talent can stand out because everybody else's talent is standing out. You're winning, you're playing well. You're not going to win every game, but you're doing enough to show that, look, my talent was seen today. My talent was recognized, whether it was by your coach, your mom, your dad, a friend. You just want somebody to say, I noticed what you was doing out there today. So don't give up, man. Football is the ultimate team game. And what sometimes you might think is you, or like I thought it was me, but it was really we. It was us.
That's good stuff. All right, James.
Yes, sir.
James, what grade are you in and what school do you attend? Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland. I'm a freshman at Francis Scott Key High School.
All right, what's your question?
I was just wondering, at what point in your life did you know that you had what it took to make it to the pros?
Excuse me. It wasn't until after, honestly, it wasn't until after I played my last college football game when I realized I was ready. So we had a bowl game against Clemson, and I played my freshman year, went to the national championship. My second year, I was in the Heisman Trophy running, and I still was kind of skeptical. Was I ready? Was I big enough? Was I strong enough? Was I smart enough to play professional football? So our last game of the season is against Clemson in the Gator Bowl. And, a lot of people are reaching out to me. Are you going to leave school? Are you coming back? What's your plans for the future? I couldn't answer them at the time because I didn't think I was ready in my heart. Yes, I had 2 great seasons, and I knew that the NFL was in my future, which was a dream of mine as a kid, young kid growing up. And I knew it was right there, but then I didn't want to go into the NFL until I was ready. And in that last game, I probably completed 15 of 20 passes for maybe 280 yards, ran 2 touchdowns, passed for 3 touchdowns. And then I just found myself saying, like, it was so easy that day. It was like it's nothing else to accomplish. So it wasn't until that last game You know, I was a sophomore. I was a sophomore when I came out of Virginia Tech. So it wasn't until that last game of my sophomore year, because I was going to come back my junior year. But that day I knew that it was over. It was time to move on. I dominated college football. And it wasn't because of me. Like I just said a few minutes ago, it was because of my team, but it was because of my efforts and my hard work. I worked hard. And yeah, we put it together, man. And I was able to make that decision. So the last game of the season against Clemson, man, you probably can check it out on the internet, man, YouTube. Pull it up, man. It's a fascinating game. I really went crazy. I went ham.
Easy against Clemson. That's saying a lot.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do that against the 2019 or the 2018 Clemson.
I love it. I love
it. That 2000 Clemson team, they
Right.
got work. They got work.
See if Deshaun and the boys hear this one.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna keep going. Try and get EJ here. EJ, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello?
All right. Where are you from? Grade?
I'm from Virginia. I'm going to ninth grade. I'm going to Heritage High School.
Heritage, okay.
All
What's
right,
your,
cool.
what's your
That's
question
back
for
home.
Mike?
Yes, I had. Yeah, football. I play football, basketball.
Yeah.
My question is, what was your reasoning of choosing number 7 for the NFL?
Oh man, that's a great question.
That is a good one.
That is a
I
good one.
get that all the time, and it's a long story behind it. It's a long story behind it. So my freshman and sophomore year, I started out wearing number 11. So my older cousin who played before me wore number 11, and I looked up to him. I loved everything about what he did. I loved him as a football player and as a person, as a cousin. So I wanted to be like him. So my freshman and my sophomore year, I wore number 11. And then my junior year, I have to leave the school that I'm at, and I had to transfer to another school, Warwick High School. So I transferred to Warwick. So now we with a whole bunch of other players, and the number 11 is not available. So I take the number 1. I wear number 1. The number 1 is a number that Ronald Curry, the greatest player to ever play high school football, he wore that number. So the first maybe 2 weeks of our summer camp, I was having like the worst practices ever. I couldn't complete a pass. I couldn't read a defense. I couldn't make a throw. I just felt like I was the worst football player, and I didn't know why. So I'm wearing number 1. I'm feeling good wearing number 1, but it's like it's not working for me. So one day in practice, me and my friend, he was my receiver. His name was Andre Harrison. We were stretching, and he was wearing number 7, and I was wearing number 1. And I looked at Andre and I said, Andre, let's switch numbers. He was like, you serious? Because I always wanted to wear number 1. I said, yeah, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time was John Elway. He wore number 7. Give me the jersey. We switched jerseys. When I put this jersey on my back, the number 7, I was a different person. I was a different football player. I wasn't the same guy who was wearing number 1, who was struggling every day. I tell people from that day forward, I became Michael Vick, the dynamic football player. My moves was different. The way I threw the ball was different. My little swag that I had at the time was different. And I don't know where it came from, but I felt like it was a sign that I got from God that day. When I switched that number, I became one of the best dual threat quarterbacks ever. So when I went to college, I wore the number 7, and I had a lot of success. And then when I went to the NFL, I felt like it was only right to keep the number 7. So I was number 11 at first. I was number 1. And then I put that number 7 on my back and I changed. So the reason I wear number 7 is because I switched jerseys with my friend that day in high school. And it looked good too. let's just be clear. The number 7 looked really good. So if you put it on, you feel good in it. You know, it's a lot behind it. You know, the number 7, you'll learn more about it as you grow older. But that number was the number for me, and I still wear it to this day if I had to put on a uniform.
All right, everyone, if you still have questions, raise your hand. Just hit the button that raise your hand, and we'll get you in. But Mike, we also got some questions that have been submitted that were typed in the chat.
All right.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Good.
All right. The question is, what do you think is the biggest thing for a quarterback to have mindset-wise?
The biggest thing for a quarterback to have mindset-wise is to be mentally tough. Because you're gonna go into a game and think about this. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna throw interceptions. You're gonna have guys coming at you, 4 defensive linemen and linebackers coming at you all game. And when they hit you, they want to knock your head off. So if that's not enough right there, I don't know what else to say. So, you know, you have to be mentally tough. That night before the game, when you go to sleep, you have to commit yourself to playing that position. You got to say a prayer. Say, God, I'm committed to this. Just hold me down. Keep me safe. But I'm going to give it everything that I got. So when you play quarterback, you got to know that it's going to be it's going to be probably more bad than good, because probably 80% of the plays you run are not going to be successful. It's going to be a handoff. There's going to be the running back going to get hit in the backfield. You might throw a screen pass and it only gets 2 yards. But you got to be patient. You got to be patient, and you got to be mentally strong and know that I'll do anything to make this game go right. Even if I got to go through the bad. Even if I got to go through the bad. Even if I got to throw 2 interceptions. If I got to throw 2, I'm going to have 2 touchdown passes. And one of those touchdown passes is going to come at the end of the game when my team needed the most. So, you know, just know that it's going to be some ups and downs, but you can get through it.
All right, Mike. All right, let's, Merrick. Merrick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right, what grade are you going to? What school do you attend?
I'm going into 11th grade. I go to Kettle Run High School in Virginia.
All right, what's your question?
How would you approach leading a team that went 1-9 the season before and trying to do a 180 and become successful this year?
Hey, going 1-9 is hard in any sport. 1-9 is not fun. You get picked on, you get called names. But you know what? When you put a uniform on, when you put a helmet on and shoulder pads and thigh pads and knee pads and cleats, it don't matter what nobody say to you, because your pride lies within that uniform that you put on. And in the game of football, I just talked about what? Team. It's not just you losing. It's everybody. So, you know, to turn it all around, everybody got to be committed to not letting that same thing happen again. We are not those type of football players, is what you got to tell yourself. We are better than this. We're better than that. We're better than what we showed. And think about the things that you didn't do well and the things that you need to work on to make you a better player, everybody around you better. There's no shame in going 1-9. I had a bunch of seasons where in high school, my first year, I went 4-6. Second year, we went 5-5. Then we went 6-4 and 6-4. And I never made the playoffs. So if you don't make the playoffs in the Peninsula District, in the 757, it's considered a failure. So if you go 6-4 or 1-9, it don't matter. You didn't make it to the playoffs. But to answer your question, always be prideful when you put that uniform on. Always know that change can come in the game of football. You know, some seasons it's only temporary. that next year you work hard to show them same people, because when they line up against you, they think they're gonna beat you. They think they're gonna beat you again because they beat you bad the year before. And then you shock them and you hit them in the mouth, and then you let them know, no, it's not like that this year. I'm a year older. I'm a little bigger. I'm a little better. I'm a little smarter, and my heart is into it. So just keep your heart into it, baby boy. Keep your heart in it.
All right, let me go to Mike. So we got some questions in the chat. Let me go over to those. Okay, Reginald Saunders is a 10th grader at Kings Fork High School in Suffolk. He said, how did you handle yourself as a professional athlete and all the pressure that comes with that title?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough because as a quarterback, everybody expects you to do all the right things. They expect you to say everything right. They expect you to be in attendance at, a team gathering. You're the focal point of the team, the media, everybody kind of look at you and, size you up and see, where you at, how is he dressing? How is he talking? How is his appearance on a day-to-day basis? Who he hanging around? There's so many questions about the quarterback position that you're gonna get that, I tried to walk the fine line. I'll be honest. I was, my high school coach always told me what it would be like if I made it as a professional quarterback. And the thing I respect about him is that he didn't sugarcoat it. He's like, son, you living in a different world. You're a black quarterback. You're gonna be looked upon different. And I always wondered what that different would be. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna be myself. I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna be the humble person that I am, because that's how God made me. I'm a very respectful person, and I'm very loyal. So, I just wanted to be the type of quarterback that, young men like you can look at it and say, oh, I want to be like Mike Vick. I like how Michael Vick handled himself, after a football game. I like how he handled himself during the football game. Of course, temper's gonna flare and things are gonna happen, but at the end of the day, you represent the team when you're the quarterback. You represent everybody. You represent the entire organization, coaches, teammates. You represent everyone, because the camera and the microphone is always going to be in your face. So just know, it's a very fine line, but, it's nothing that you can't handle, as a young man, even when you're 21, 22, 23 years old. That's when you learn how to handle playing the quarterback position.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight right there. That's a lot of weight. All right. Got another one. Kazo, I apologize for if I'm mispronouncing your name. Are you on?
Shazo.
Kazo?
Shazo?
Let's unmute you there. Can you hear us? Are you there?
Yeah, I think he having the
connections. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Ira. Ira, you can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Ira?
Yes.
All right, what grade?
You.
And what school do you attend?
I'm in 12th. I go to Snow High.
All right, what's your question?
If you got like a team, y'all just came off like four losing seasons, 0-9, 0-8, like, and then you got guys that don't want to work. Like, how do you motivate them to come to workouts every day so like we can get better, change the culture a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just keep encouraging them, man. Just let them know, like, I don't want to lose all my life. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to lose this season. I don't want to lose next season. Man, just what you said. How do you encourage them? You keep encouraging them, because they might not have the same goals that you have. Everybody's different. So if you can't get them to come work with you, you know what you want to do in the future. You just keep working. You know, sometimes in life you can't bring everybody with you. And I know those are your teammates. But at some point, you're going to have to make the hard decisions, the tough decisions. And that decision is to just, if y'all don't want to work and y'all want to continue to lose, that's not going to be me. I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. People are going to notice me. People are going to notice what I'm doing. You know, we might lose the game, 35-3 or 35-7, but I'm going to have 9 catches. I'm going to do something productive. Keep working on you, man, because you can't change everybody. You continue to encourage them because that's the leader in you. And that quality will live on with you for the rest of your days in football and in the workplace, because you won't play football for forever. But you can always be a leader in your own right. You'll be in your household one day. You know what I'm talking about down the road.
Some real life lessons right there, using sports as a metaphor for life. That's something we're all about.
No doubt.
So this is a little different one question, Mike, from Eric Chapman. He said, if you could give any advice to an offensive lineman, what would it be?
Block.
Block somebody, Mike.
Just find somebody.
Find somebody to block.
Find somebody.
Man, let me tell you, I say this, man. Like offensive linemen, like I have so much respect for them because every offensive lineman I ever had so much respect for me. And even though they was bigger, I tell my wife all the time, like, I can't believe I had so much control over a guy that was so much bigger than me. He in the trenches, he blocking, he fighting, and he might be big and he might not be in the best, look like he in the best shape, but you know what? He got a good heart. That dude got a good heart, man, and I do anything for him. I do anything for him, and they like, sometimes offensive linemen can be like big teddy bears. Like you just want to, as a quarterback, I just always wanted to give mine as a hug, and I always wanted to show him love and do anything I could for him. So, as an offensive lineman, man, you take pride in that. You take pride in it because you know who's gonna notice it the most. Not your coach, your quarterback. And if you are an offensive lineman, you work to be a protector. You are a protector. And that's one of the coolest positions in sports. And you might not get a lot of recognition for it, but your relationship with your quarterbacks that you protect will last for a lifetime. They'll be inviting you over to barbecues, man. And y'all might, you might be playing in the National Football League, and you playing one of the top quarterbacks. You protecting for one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and you're gonna always get the invite to the barbecue over at the house, man, because he like you, he respect you, and he know that y'all gonna protect one another, man. So it's one of the coolest positions in sports. Don't never forget.
All right. Now we got an interesting attendee here. They wanted to ask a question, Mike. Coach Raymond.
Oh, special guest.
Hello. Well, hello, guys. How y'all doing?
How you doing, Coach?
Good, great.
Can't do this without Coach Raymond up in here, baby. What's up, Coach?
I'm fine, son. How are you? I've been talking to my players about you. We had a workout today, and we wanted to make sure we joined you in, and it's a little difficulty to get to you, but
yeah.
I'm proud of you. I've heard you talk. One of the things, the great questions that people always ask me, I comment on, is what did you learn from football in high school? And it covers, I can hear your answer, but I want you to just say it to all of these young kids out here, the guys, playmakers of today, all the guys you were describing as you were so wonderfully expressing. But what did you get from high school football experience that you can talk to us about?
Well, Coach, everybody, this is my high school coach right here. You can see him in the camera. This is the guy who helped me grow into a man. What I learned from high school is that you know, you can grow up and be upset about a lot of things in your life, and things don't go right in your life, and you might not have the best of the best. You know, it might be clothes or shoes, and you know what I learned was that when you have people who really love you, you know, not because of what you can do in football, and the person that you can look at, you know, if he's your coach, he might be your uncle, he might be, you know, a teacher in your school that you just have the utmost respect for. You know, what I learned is that respect can be, you know, it can be mutual. It can be, it can be shown both ways. And you know, I learned that you can take advice from somebody who's not, you know, your mom or your dad. You know, at growing up as a young man, I didn't always get advice from my mom, you know, or my dad. And you know, Coach was a guy who came into my life and, you know, told me what life was going to be like. If you want to play on a college level, well, let's start with high school. If you want to play high school football, this is what you got to do, and you got to do it like this. If you want to play high school, you want to play college ball, this is what you got to do, and you got to do it like this. And if you want to play in the NFL, this is what you got to do. And it wasn't something that I always wanted to hear, because I was a young man, like most of you all are, and you don't understand. You understand what he's saying, but you don't understand. And I just try to take in everything that my coach gave me as far as attention that he showed me. You know, sometimes a lot of times the praise, you know, a lot of times the like the arguing that he did, you know, when I didn't do things right. But it was always that smile, you know, after the game that showed me that he really cared. So what I learned in high school is that, like, people really care about you. You know, people really care about you succeeding. And, you know, we didn't know that I was going to make it to the National Football League. All Coach wanted me to do was get some form of education. And he cared, you know, but it wasn't just me. This guy has put so many high school players through college. So many. And, you know, he deserves a lot of credit for it, and I think he gets it. But you know, it's just I can't say enough about him. I can't say enough about him. And I know, like, without those days, like one time he went a whole semester without talking to me. A whole semester without talking to me because my grades dropped in my junior year, and I had like a 1.9 GPA. And he looked at me like, "This is the type of person you want to be? Those are the type of people you want to hang around? Then you do it. Don't talk to me until you get your GPA up." This is my coach who coached me for 2 years, who gave me all the advice, you know, my freshman, sophomore year, and my junior year. He had to turn his back on me for like 4 months, and he did it. Walked past me every day in the hallway, did not speak. He might have looked at me, but he did not speak to me, and that made me a stronger, better man, and you know, young man at the time. And we just got some great memories. So it's good to see you, Coach.
Thank you, son. Thank you. I'm gonna get you off the hook now.
Yeah, get me off the hook.
Yeah, I tell you, bless your heart. A wonderful thing for you to do is to share your time with so many young high school players who are just dying to hear you talk, and we're very thankful. Tommy Jr. is around, and so yeah, we just very happy for you.
Yeah,
thank you.
No doubt. Thank you, Coach, man. I love you.
Coach.
Love you.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, we're going to now get I see a couple of hands raised. So let me get
a cool pop in. That was a nice surprise, pleasant surprise.
I'm over here working cell phones and text messages, and all right, Sean, hold on, we're going to get you in. Sean, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, Sean.
All right. So,
Oh,
my name's
what
Sean.
grade are you in, and what school do you attend?
I'm going to my 10th, and I go to Kentsville High School in Virginia Beach.
All right.
Good. All right.
My question was like, from playing since you was little, you know, everybody around you seeing you play and telling you you're gonna be in the NFL one day, and like telling you you're gonna be great one day. How do you like stay humble and not get ahead of yourself, and like keep advancing your goals?
Sean, let me back you up for a minute. Even that man that was on the screen, my high school coach, didn't tell me that I was gonna make it to the NFL. He didn't know. I didn't know. My friends didn't know. We just knew that I had the talent. So having the talent is one thing, but the hardest part for me was maintaining my focus in school. See, it's easy to go on the field and play ball. I can go play ball all day, you know. My coach knew that. The reason he stopped talking to me is because everybody can't get in that classroom and take it serious. And yes, you know, it was times where I didn't think that I was going to even go to college because I'm like, man, I really got to focus on my school. And if I want, you know, my relationships with people to be right, if I want to achieve my goal in life, and that's having a shot at playing in the NFL, you know, I got to do what's needed at the time, and that's become a better student. So nobody sees that part. Everybody sees the talent, and they'll tell you, you got a shot, but that's all you got. You got a shot. Along with that shot comes a lot of responsibility, and it starts in the classroom, and then you got to do what you got to do on the field. So, you know, once I got to college and I started having success, and it started looking like I was going to the NFL, I wanted to just be that person that I was. I didn't want to change anything about me to make people look at me different. Like I became arrogant or you know, I was self-centered or I thought about myself more. I was just me. And, you know, if I could have looked in the crystal ball and knew that I was going to make it to the NFL in the 9th grade, 10th grade, then maybe I would have been different. But thank God it wasn't a crystal ball because it made me work hard. So the humility, staying humble came from the hard work. And that hard work was put into me by, you know, all the coaches that I had, high school, college, and pro.
Well, that's some jewels right there. We're going to get one more question in. We're going to try and get JT in. JT, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on.
All right. We can hear you.
So I was wondering, like, how hard did you train to get to college? And was it hard? Did you train every day, looking forward to it? And did you have any doubts?
Well, I played basketball in the off season, my sophomore year, my senior year of high school. So that kept me in shape. My junior year, I didn't play because my grades had dropped. So my high school coach, who you just seen, Tommy Raymond, and my mom made me quit basketball, which was like one of the worst things that I felt like happened to me. But, you know, it was something that I could live with. So I didn't get to work. I didn't get to work out a lot that year, but I think playing basketball, because when the season was over, you know, my coach didn't make us come in and work out until, you know, into the spring, like April and May. So and then the summer, of course. But nowadays it's different. You know, y'all have all types of trainers that's local in your area who train high school kids and athletes, you know, in all the sports. So I think now it's different. You know, the only thing we had then was basketball that could just keep us in shape during the season. And half of the time, our coaches didn't care whether we played basketball or not. But I'll tell you what, not playing basketball my freshman and my junior year did for me. It helped my body. And when I think about it, I'm very grateful and thankful because I didn't put a lot of wear and tear on my knees running up and down the court. I didn't wear my body down after, you know, a rough football season as a young man, then going right into basketball. That's a lot of push. And then, you'll feel the effects as you get older. So I was just thankful for that. But I would say this, if you're not playing basketball, just take advantage of the local strength and conditioning coaches that might be in your area. Social media, they're not hard to find these days. You always gonna know who's training in your area. And if not, you can ask your high school coach. Because staying in shape is very important. That's something that you always want to do.
Oh, that's good stuff. Mike, we're almost at the top of the hour, so I think that's all the questions we're going to get in. Carl, any final thoughts?
Yeah, first I want to thank Mike for coming in. And as you know, because he doesn't play football anymore, doesn't mean he's not busy. He's on to a tremendous post-career for himself. So we want to thank him. One thing that I've always admired about him is that he has a lot of respect and love for his hometown, where he grew up, and always want to make sure that he gives back to young people. And also on this call, we have a lot of young people from all over the country, which is beautiful as well. So I just want to make sure that we recognize that. But for all you young men on the phone, I know we want to get to all these questions tonight, but I know Mike getting a little tired. And so Mike, if you could take one more, would that be cool?
Yeah, let's do two more.
Okay, two more. All right, well, go ahead,
Finish
Vernon.
strong.
Let's get two more then, Vernon. Then we'll wrap up officially.
All right, Gabe. Let's see if we can get you in here, Gabe. Gabe, you're on. Unmute yourself, Gabe.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know I was muted.
No problem. What grade what grade are you in, and what high school do you attend?
I'm a sophomore. I'm about to go be a junior. I go Westfield.
Westfield?
Yeah.
All right. What's your question for Mike?
My question is, how do you feel about like the Hebrew Israelites and stuff?
Well, I never really. I got a friend that's really into that. You know what I'm saying? Like my denomination or what I believe in. It's totally different from others. You know what I'm saying? So, never really studied it. Never really got into it in that facet. But I know a guy who always, talking to me about that denomination, man. And it's real serious. It's very intriguing. But never really, got into it as a man, as a true participant. So I can answer your question on that. But if that's what you believe in, if that's, what you're seeking, you're seeking a different, a higher power, in that category, then make sure that you totally understand it.
All right. And we have, we still got a few questions in the chat, but this is an interesting one from Savon Davis. Good evening, Mr. Vick. Who's the better athlete, you or your brother Marcus, and why?
Me. Me. I mean, I don't have to explain that. My brother was very talented. My brother did have a better arm, accuracy-wise, than I had. But I was a better athlete, and he'll tell you that. Just like I just told you, he was a better passer than me. He'll tell you I was a better athlete. So it goes to show that I'm not telling a lie. So I was the better athlete than my brother.
All right.
All right.
Well, on that note, like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight, and I want to thank Mike again. And you guys keep your head up out there. Like Mike said, a better day is coming. This is not the end of your high school career, and it's not the end of your career in football. Keep fighting, keep working out, keep finding things to motivate you, and keep believing in yourself, and others will follow, and you will continue to be successful and be leaders. By the simple fact that you're on here tonight tells us something about you as a person, for you taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend with Mike and myself and Vernon tonight. So we thank you, and we appreciate you, and you guys have a continued successful high school career. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Mike. We appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Yeah.